Hello and welcome to Backlinking, the PKM podcast. In today's podcast episode, we are diving into a couple of things because there is just so much happening in the productivity and tech space. But we will start off with talking a little bit about WWDC, Apple's developer conference. But that is something every tech channel will cover, so I will just quickly talk about it and mainly the productivity stuff. Then we will jump into Dia and the browser company's new browser. So let's just quickly start off with WWDC, Apple's developer conference. They demoed their new Liquid UI. Their new Liquid UI and social media went wild about it. People declared Apple dead. This is the end of an era. I don't think it's that bad. Do I think it's good? I absolutely do not think that the UI is good. I actually downloaded it on my iPhone and it is. It isn't the best experience I've had. There are a few readability issues. There are a lot of issues, like in general, but I think Apple will just fix a lot of that. So that isn't something I'm worried about at all. I also think that this version is the most extreme version of this liquid glass UI. I think they will dial it back when iOS 26 comes out to the public in September. I'm not too worried about the liquid glass thing. What I am worried about, though, is AI stuff. This year they didn't talk too much about AI. They didn't overpromise, which was something they did last year. The whole new iPhone built for Apple Intelligence, which is, let's be honest, basically useless. That is what it is. It is basically useless. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done there also. Like, I have an Apple Watch, I have an iPad, I have a Mac, and I have an iPhone. And the ecosystem is great and all that stuff, but I can't get Siri to work. Like, I tried to get Siri to give me a reminder of something the next day. Not even close. Not even close to giving me the right reminder. So things like that annoy me a lot. I think that if Apple doesn't figure out the AI stuff, they might actually be dead. But I think they, at some point, like, we're talking about one of the biggest companies in the world, at some point they will just have to figure it out. There are a lot of great, talented people at Apple, but so far it's been a disaster. They demoed some AI stuff, but they didn't call it Apple Intelligence. They didn't, as I said, overpromise. There was a new update to multitasking and window management on the iPad, which is great. It is closer to the Mac. I also think there was an update to the file systems there, so you can more easily and better manage files on the iPad. So for some people, the iPad is now actually an alternative to having a Mac. So I think that is also really a really interesting update. And there was this Spotlight where they added a few features, like the updated Spotlight, which finally, because Spotlight is also basically useless. Like, I use Raycast, and the only reason that I use Raycast is because I would spend 5 to 10 to 15 minutes trying to find my video files whenever I film on my Mac. At least 5 minutes would be spent finding all of the right files that I was going to use to edit my video. That's why I downloaded Raycast. I fell in love with Raycast. I will still stick with Raycast, but having actually Apple doing something with Spotlight is amazing. They basically copied some of the features that you would have in Raycast. You could basically type in something like messages and then type your message in Spotlight and send it from right there. Do I think, like, again, people declared Raycast dead. People just love declaring applications dead. Raycast will not die. There are so many features that Spotlight does not have that Raycast does have, and also like Raycast's main user base, at least my guess is that those people who actually pay for Raycast, because that's the important part. Like having many users doesn't help you if you're not making any money as a company. Um, so I think most of Raycast like pro users like myself, I pay for the pro AI plan, 20 USD each month. And even if I didn't pay for that, I would probably pay for the $8 each month because I use a lot of the pro features. Um, so as I said, a lot of like the people who pay for Raycast are power users, and they won't move to Spotlight just because Spotlight got some of the updates. I think there are people that will do that, but they wouldn't pay for Raycast anyways. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. And I definitely do not think that Raycast is dead. So that was the main updates. I don't think Apple is dead. I don't think Raycast is dead. I think Apple might be dead if they do not figure out Siri at some point. And also, people are expecting too much innovation from Apple. Apple is a huge company. If you want innovation, take a look at Huawei. They do a lot of innovation, but Apple hasn't been really innovative for a long time. I mean, the chips on the Mac are they're amazing, but apart from that, we haven't seen a lot of things. They tried the Vision Pro. I don't actually know anyone with a Vision Pro. I struggle with these VR headsets myself because of my migraines and just some issues in general, but mainly the migraines. So that isn't something I will use for now, at least. But that was WWDC for you. So we've covered all of the main stuff. And like I said, there will be many more people covering covering this on different channels because this is tech news. But let's jump into Dia and the browser company because I have tried out the browser from the browser company called Dia. They abandoned Arc. There is a whole long story there. Let's start off with the first most obvious thing here. It is really hard to trust a company that has taken away or stopped maintaining. It is very important for them to say that they've stopped developing. That's the right word. They are only maintaining. They are really particular about the words they use. They are only maintaining Arc. It will get security updates, but they won't add any new features. Um, and when someone like when someone creates a product you really like, and then just totally abandons that product, it is really hard to trust that company again. Trusting that the browser company won't just get shiny new tool syndrome and jump to the next big thing is really hard. I don't think that they will do it, but like I still struggle with trusting them after what happened with Arc. So that is the first most obvious thing. When it comes to the browser itself, I think the idea is great. The execution is still off. So the big bet with this browser here is that people will use web apps and they will use web apps on their computers and they will live in their browser. Like most people will live in their browsers. I think that is true. I think like people outside of the productivity and tech space, they use their browser a lot. I have had discussions with people on my channel around things like whether you should have a native app, for example, for your desktop, or like I think it was Heptabase discussing whether or not Heptabase should have had a native application instead of a web app or an Electron wrapper. Most people do not care about those stuff, and um, I tried discussing this with my sister. She didn't care. The only thing she cared about was whether or not this application functioned in the browser. That was the main point here. So I think they're right uh, when it comes to the fact that the browser is really important. We are also seeing like more and more developers using web apps just because it is simpler. So I think they're right about that part, and that's why they've like implemented AI in your browser. I also think that when it comes to like memory features and the AI becoming personalized to you, I think the browser is one of the best places to do that. So again, I think they're right there as well. Um, my issues, I have a few. First of all, it is currently in a really early stage, and I like the fact, just like I like that Apple just releases something that might look a little broken with this iOS 26 developer beta. I think it's amazing that the browser company does the same thing with the. It is quite bare bones. Right now, it is Chrome with AI chatbots or AI chat bot where you can talk to your tabs. That's basically it. It is Chrome. It looks like Chrome. It doesn't look like Arc at all. I really miss the vertical tabs and the spaces. But they've said that many of the features that people loved about Arc will at some point come to uh, Dia. But currently, it is just Google Chrome with the ability to chat with OpenAI. I think it's one of the ChatGPT models. I'm not sure which one, or I can't remember it off the top of my head. Um, but that is basically what it is. Um, I think that with the right development, this can become a huge thing. I think it is more important with something like this to be cross-platform, because there are people out there, not many, but there are people out there who use multiple different devices, and uh, for this browser to work properly, you will need to get information from all of those browsers. So I think that is more important this time than it was with Arc. I also think that there is limited time to pull this off because some point Chrome will do the same thing. We already have some of the features with Gemini in Chrome, and I think they will just add more and more features. Like basically, we will end up having the same thing in Chrome. I think we will end up having the same thing in many different browsers or many different applications, at least because there is also something like Raycast, for example, which now allows me to send an image of a web page to the AI chat and talk with that image. It isn't the same thing, but at some point, I think also Raycast will implement something like this, and you already have a lot of features with Raycast because Raycast is betting on the fact that you will use your apps a little more. But like as I said, I'm a big fan of Raycast. I believe in it, so I think they will also add great features for using AI with your browser. And currently, with what they have, it is still a really good experience. So time is limited here. At some point, uh, just like mem.ai, if you're familiar with that productivity or note taking application, it was the same thing back in early 2020, 2021 when mem first came out. People hyped it up, they jumped to it, it was amazing, everyone loved it. But as time went on and more applications, and we got ChatGPT and more applications started implementing AI, like Mem died down a little. It got slower. People stopped talking about it. It lacked a lot of the features that people wanted because they weren't able to get it to work before everyone else did the same thing. That is one of my concerns around the and the browser company is like, can they make it work before everyone else does the same thing? And that is hard to answer. I think there are a lot of talented people in the browser company, and you see that in a lot of the animations and a lot of the small details uh, in um, in Dia. Like I said, that it is basically Chrome with chat. It is a more beautiful version of Chrome. They've paid attention to detail. I think they've done a great job. It is a pleasant experience using the browser. But like there is limited time here. At some point, other companies will start doing the same thing. Perplexity has a browser they're calling Comet, which is still in early access. I'm on the wait list there as well. So it will be exciting to see how that one looks. But the browser company has shown before that they are able to produce a browser that people love, and they are able to like innovate in the space, which isn't something you can say about a lot of companies making browsers. Or actually a lot of companies in tech in general. Like I feel like a lot of companies just copy each other, or at least try to. So there is a great team behind Dia. Whether or not it will work out, it's really hard to say. And I also think that the browser company needs to do a better job this time than it did with Arc. Just using myself as an example, I talked about the fact that it was really hard when they decided to just maintain Arc, or I was about to say sunset Arc, but they didn't do that. They were just maintaining it. Um, and it was really annoying for me and for a lot of the other users as well, which means that it is harder to trust them now, which means that the product needs to be much better in order for me to actually go ahead and use that product. It needs to be much, much better than everything else on the market. Like, I have to have a lot of FOMO to pay the browser company to use the that is my last point. I think that it will actually be possible to make money off of Dia if the product like keeps developing and it gets really good, because I think the idea here is really, really good. So the browser company is a company, like their goal is to make money, and that's okay. Like my goal is also to make money I when I do stuff. A lot of the stuff I do, like the main goal is to make money. If I can do other things as well, that's great. But like without money, you can't survive as a business. That's just simply like not even as a business, as a human. You can't, if you can't afford food, you can't survive. My point here is that like there is nothing bad about the goal of wanting to make money, as long as the product you're providing or the thing you're giving away for that money is good. That is really important. You have to give something that is good enough for people to give you their money. And if you're able to do that, like there are people out there paying 100 USD for ChatGPT, and they are really happy about it because the product is just that good for their use case and their life. If the browser company can produce something that is really good, I think that even the most or even the people that love Arc the most will consider it. I also think that the browser company went away from what was their core audience in Arc, which was a lot of people that were really into tech and productivity, and now they're like targeting more quote unquote normal people. I often call them normal people, but I'm thinking of people like my fiance, my sister, my friends who aren't that into tech. I would call them tech savvy, but they aren't as into tech as I am. Like they won't sit down and watch WWDC, or they don't know that the Dia browser just got released. So I think that's the new core audience. Whether that's right or wrong, only time will show. But I think it is super interesting, and we live in a really interesting time. I don't think that the Dia browser is amazing. I haven't had the whoa moment yet. Uh, but I don't think it is that bad either. I think the idea is really good. It is a pleasant experience using it. But as I said, it still needs a lot more work. That covers it for today's episode. If you have any questions or anything you want to discuss, please do leave your comments down below. And as usual, thank you so much for watching or listening. If you haven't done so, please do subscribe and follow as well if you enjoy the podcast. Thank you so much for watching or listening to today's podcast episode.